change is an obvious concern. I feel like we are still working towards the worst of it. We're not obviously in the worst of it, but despite where we are, maybe earlier on the dial of climate change, there is still such a large uptick of wildfires in particular. And so the only thing I think of is, I mean, if we are this early on in climate change, how much worse is it actually going to get? I mean, have you? I've seen different scales on what um, the rise of the oceans will do, even just a little bit. A very modest rise in sea level. But even wildfires, I mean, have you ever done any research on that or heard anything what it could possibly look like?
It can get a lot worse, and you're right, that's the concern of climate change. I think a lot of people in their heads just kind of hear 1.5 degrees warming or 2 degrees warming and think, oh, it's going to be
What's the
77
big
instead
deal?
of 75.
Right.
Really, it's these disasters getting a lot worse. And we're already seeing examples of it. Obviously, this Colorado wildfire is horrifying. Hurricane Ida last summer, hitting Louisiana and ripping all the way through to the Northeast. I don't know that
Right.
I've ever seen anything like that. And what I think concerns me a lot is something called correlated extreme weather events, which are basically when you have two of these things that happen either at the same time or back to back or simultaneously all over the country. So you think about like a Hurricane Ida. I believe it was Hurricane Henry that hit the Northeast just a few
Right
weeks
before.
before. So you think about this hurricane hits, all the soil is soaking wet, it absorbs what it can, the rest of the water runs off. It's still soaking wet when Ida hits.
Hmm.
Also, they still hadn't finished cleaning up the damage. So now this new hurricane comes in, and there's nowhere for this water to go. And it can cause a lot more damage that way. It can lead to very bad soil erosion. And certainly for cleanup crews, I can't even imagine what that's like. I'm sure on your end in the insurance world, that's also just a huge concern. So
Yeah.
when you see that kind of thing happening, if you think about like if drought were to happen just in multiple areas in the country, and you can think about how that would affect our food supply, um, all different combinations there. I think we've also seen in the winter sometimes we'll have like a cold wave followed by a heat wave within like two
Yeah.
days, and pipes start bursting. And so this is where climate change can go because these things will get a lot more frequent, but also when they're happening like on top of each other, the sum of the two parts can be a lot worse than just the individual event. And I don't like to be overwhelming about this kind of thing. I feel like that's where we just
Yeah.
ended up, but certainly it's concerning. It's good to understand and figure out how to adapt to, and we can do that. There are strategies to do that, but first step is just acknowledging that this is where we're at, this is where we're going.